In this chapter, you and I are going to be working together to build a presentation for a company meeting that Houston Aeronautics is going to be holding at their headquarters. And so, before we get started actually building the slides, we need to have an idea of exactly what this meeting is going to entail and start to gather what I call a mental storyboard of the slides that I need to create. And so the first thing I do anytime I'm creating a presentation is I just fire up a text editor, and I start off by calling it talking points. This is everything that I think I'm going to talk about in that meeting. This is just a big overview though, a bird's eye view of what I'm saying. This isn't going to be granular whatsoever. It's just how I start off every single presentation. And so basically for this presentation, the boss has come to us and said, okay, here are the following things that we need to cover in this meeting. Number one, our goals for the year. Number two, our financial overview, our new lunch program that we're launching, some industry partnership updates, some changes we're making to facilities, and then I want to come on stage and I want to do Q&A. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 talking points. So let's go to work actually creating slides to go along with that. So I'm going to jump over into Keynote, but you can actually use PowerPoint or whatever type of presentation software you want to use. I'm also going to make sure that I choose a wide theme. Why am I choosing a wide theme? Because most projectors nowadays are widescreen, and most of the devices that we are using to do presentations with, televisions and projectors, are widescreen, 16 by 9. What I'm going to do is just select the white template right here and click Choose. My personal philosophy when creating new presentation decks, especially when I'm using the default templates inside of Keynote or PowerPoint, is to start out with something very basic, and you can't get much more basic than just plain old black and white. This allows you to fully customize it and make it your own. So before I get into customizing any of this information in here, what I'm going to start doing is creating the slides that I need over here on the left. And so in order to do that, I'm going to refer back to my talking points. So at the very beginning of every presentation, I always start with some sort of nice looking graphic to let people know where they are, that they're at the right meeting, right? So that's going to be my intro slide. So I'll leave that. That's slide number 1. Then I want a title slide. What kind of meeting is this going to be? So in this case, we're going to have a title slide that looks something like this. And then we'll create another slide that's going to be an agenda slide. And that's going to have some bullet points on it. So I'm just going to select. Now I'm having trouble seeing this, so what I'm going to do is just zoom out. I'm going to use the zoom menu up here, and let's zoom out to about 50%. That way we can see it. There we go. So now I've got, this is going to be my intro slide, which is actually going to have a graphic on it. So what I'm going to do is change this to just be blank. This one right here is going to be my title slide, so it's going to have some information on it. And then I'm going to have an agenda slide, which walks everybody through everything that we're going to go over in the meeting. Now I need to start creating all of the different slides that go along with the talking points that I had before. So let's go ahead and write out our talking points once again. And we can customize this once we start fixing up the master slides a little bit later on. So we want to talk about our goals for 2015. I want to talk about the financial overview. We want to go over the new lunch program. And we want to talk about industry partnerships. And finally, we want to talk about facilities. And then, of course, the boss wants to do Q&A. So there's all of my points, and I can use those to start creating my slides. So first and foremost, the goals slide. Most of that stuff can be covered just with bullet points, so I'll just create another new slide with bullet points. The financial overview, that's most likely going to be a chart of some kind. So what I'm going to do is just create a blank slide for that. I'll create a blank slide for another one because I'm going to talk about two things in there, revenue growth and market share. I can't show them both in the same chart because I want them to be really big, so I'm going to put them both on their own separate slide. Then we're going to talk about the lunch program. The lunch program, first off, I want to showcase some photos of the food we're going to be serving. So I'm going to do a photo slide. You could also do just a blank slide and then fill in the photos after the fact. Then I'm going to do another photo slide because there's two things we're adding to the lunch program. Entrees and desserts. So I'm going to showcase both of those off. And then finally, after the lunch program, we're going to talk about the rules of the lunch program. Who gets it, who doesn't, when is it, when does it close, all that kind of stuff. Then we're going to talk about industry partnerships. So this is just going to be a kind of an announcement slide. I'm going to do a blank one here because we're going to have a logo to go in there. And then there's going to be some rules that go along with that too. So let's go ahead and add in another bullet point slide. Then we're going to go into the facilities update. And so with the facilities update, what we want to do is just have a title slide for that. There we go. Then what we're going to do is have a picture of our new gym that we're going to be building. And then we'll have another picture slide of a new facility that we're adding. And we're just going to call it a hangar. And then finally, the last one, we'll just give another title slide for the Q&A. So it's a 15-slide presentation, and I'm basing that off of all of this information here. And that's basically how I storyboard every single presentation that I do. Now, of course, it could change, things get added, things get taken away, and that's all well and good. But this is a great way to start off. And then what I would do is just take this and I would save it. So I'll just put this out on my desktop, and I'll call this Company Meeting and hit save. And so now we have the bare bones, almost like a skeleton that we're ready to just fully flesh out and style away. And we're going to do that first by modifying some master slides.